Hey, what's up, gamers? Skelemistic. I am here today in my Avalon Castle plot. As you may or may not know, I've been back to making videos again, and as such, I have been looking at a number of different things that have changed or gone on or that I could improve on since I was last here making videos. One of those I noticed today is in gardening. Now, I know, there's about 5 million couch potato how to make a garden plot videos. I know. But I've spent the past couple of days and I've crunched the numbers, and I think I've got this down to the absolutely most efficient system that I can even conceive of. And what I mean by that is you can get the absolute most couch potato seeds planted and taken care of for no more energy than you are already using. This is what I'm basing this on. Everyone who has gardened before knows that, yes, 69 plots is the most that you can treat with one large spell. Sure, that is true. However, I'm not basing this garden on 69 plots. I'm basing this garden on 66 plots. And you're like, Skell, you're robbing us of 3 plants. Why? Why are you doing that? I'm really not. Honestly, when I'm done here, I think you'll be surprised. Let me go ahead and start building this, and I'll explain as I'm building. Now, the building process that I am using is the advanced placement that I first saw, and I've got to give the man props because he's the first person I saw doing it. I don't know if he was the first person to do it, but he's the first person I saw to do it, so I'm giving him the credit. Ferric, this shout-out's for you, brother. Thank you very much for your advanced placement video that got me started thinking about this. All right, so the only 2 things you're going to need to make these garden plots are this, the low square table, which you get from the furniture vendor in Mushu, and any one of these pressure plates. It could be the insect, the moon, the anything, any one of them that you can get. I'm not sure who drops these, but they're common enough you can find them in the bazaar without too much trouble. All right, so that's the only 2 things you're going to need to do this, and this is how we're going to construct this bed. You'll see as I go along what's going to happen here. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you're going to get the table as close as you can with normal placement to the pressure plate. Then what you're going to do is we're going to use advanced placement. When you go into advanced placement, make sure you select the absolute movement and that you set your sensitivity to 20. All of the planting, all of the item movement, everything is going to be based on that base 20. Because 80 units is apparently as close as you can plant seeds together to where they won't interfere with each other, to where they will actually all plant. So you're going to go ahead and put the table like I've got it here, right in front of the insect plaque, or the tablet, whatever. And you're going to move it in. Oops, wrong one. You're going to move it in. Yes, in. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're going to move it in until it just, when you're standing in front of the plate, it just touches the edge of the insect plate. That's what we're going to do. Then we're going to come into this side. This is, by the way, a multi-plane placement, so you're going to need to be familiar with your X, Y's, and Z's as much as possible. So now I'm going to move it on this plane. Okay, I moved that way. All right, so your first setup, your basic position is this. You're going to be underneath or lined up perfectly with the insect pressure plate, whatever. I'm just going to say insect pressure plate because it's easier to remember. And you're going to line up your other edges this way, the insect plate and your table is going to be, that's where you're going to start from, right there. Now you're going to go ahead and move this. You're going to move it 2 spaces. The reason you're going to move it 2 spaces is because our garden plot is going to be this way. We're going to go 4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 10, then back to 8, 6, and 4. Placing it this way is going to allow you to position your 4. You'll know you have this first row right. If the pointy part of your plot, let me show you when it materializes. If the pointy part of your plot is just over the edge of that plate, you know you've done it right. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to do your absolute movement. And you're going to go 4 spaces. You're going to click 4 spaces. And then you're going to click accept. Go back to the garden plot. and plant. A couple of things I want to talk about here really quick with this gardening thing, a couple of pro tips that you got to have here, you really want to have here. When you do the placement is very, very, very fine, and you need to be watching the table's movement as you move it. In other words, watch. Don't just click 4 times and assume that it moved. Watch it move. The reason being for that, this movement is so fine that if you accidentally move it 3 times and you don't notice it, and you put down plot somewhere, the plot will place, but then later on the seed won't place, and you'll basically have to rip it all out and start over again. And that really, it's really no fun at all. Another thing about this is, when you do the movements, 3, 4, make sure that you click accept, because watch what happens if you don't. It zips back to where it was. And if you don't notice that, sure, it won't let you place a plot here. I'll do this. It won't let you put a plot down. It'll be in red. And you'll notice that. But that's more steps that you're going to have to go through to go back and correct. You really, really want to be diligent when you're doing the absolute movement, because it's absolutely annoying if you're not careful. Okay, click your accept. Do this. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this is for the first row. I'm going to go ahead here and put up the plans in these red dots up here in this upper left hand corner of the screen. I'm going to here's the plans for it now. Okay, so next what we're going to do, our next row is going to be 6. To make this move, we need 2, 3, 4. You're going to go 4 back away from you, and then you're going to go 4 to the right. And that's going to allow you to place 6 in this row. What I'm doing here is I have changed the plot layout so that you can only use 1 tropical garden gnome, 1 litter, 1 sandwich station. Previous to this, you would have to put down 1 for each bed, plus the seed that it likes, and that eats up 15 spaces. And boys, that's a lot. That's a lot of seeds you lose. 2, 3, 4. With this plan, you can put down just 1 tropical garden gnome, just 1 litter, and just 1 sandwich station, and just 1 seed. So you're only burning 5 spaces. The reason I'm making the beds like I'm doing here is they're the most compact way to make a bed that I've come up with so far. 3, 4, that runs with the numbers. You're going to be able to affect every plant in all these plots with just 1 set of garden tools or garden bonuses. Another part of this, or point of this, that as soon as I get this full row, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It gets to be kind of difficult sometimes, especially if you're tired or whatever else, to keep track of this. And if you lose it on a side row, you're kind of in trouble. But with these horizontal rows, all you've got to do to know that you're on the right path, or you've put down enough plots. Let me get up there as soon as it gets done. You'll see these little pointy parts here. Okay, there's 5 plots up there right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the easiest way I can think of to keep track of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you click that accept. Make sure every time. I can't stress that enough, because it's a pain in the butt till you get all this set down and find out you missed one somewhere, and then all the rest are wrong after that and have to pull it all up again. It's really annoying. All right, so we've got our 6. So our next row is going to be 8. So we're going to hit our advanced move. Oops, wrong one. 3, 4. So you're going to go back 4, and then you're going to go over 4. 3, 4. This is going to give you a row of 8 when you're done. Another part of this that I'll talk about, well, I guess I can talk about it now, it doesn't really matter. The reason for this crock pressure plate, mostly is spacing. 2, 3, 4. What this is going to do is allow me to space my beds as close as possible without interfering with any seeds, so that our one tropical garden gnome can affect all seeds, our one litter, etc., 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 can affect all seeds. That's what we're doing here. We're really, really, really squinching this down. 4. To get the most effect out of the least space. So I'm going to do the first bed in slow motion, and then I'm going to do the beginning part of the bed to show you how it fits around the pressure plate. But then I'm just going to like zip through, and I'll either speed it up or I'll just fade in. 2, 4. Also, you can pretty much tell that you have the table in the right spot, because I'll show you here when I get this on again. Move it again. Because your plot will go pretty much in the center of the table. The pointy part of the plot will go pretty much in the center of the table. Like this. You'll see up there. You see where it's kind of right there. Let me get up right there a little closer. It's almost dead center of the table, that little pointy part of that plot. So we're going to go ahead and do it again. It'll take you a good hour or so to make all 3 of these beds. Maybe a little less once you get used to doing it. This is the 6th one. I can tell just from the little pointy parts. Oop. Make sure accept. Yeah, I really want to just do this first bed piece by piece by piece so you guys get a good guide of it. Okay, this is what the 3rd row is going to look like. As you can see, we're only jumping out with one extra plot on each side, so it's pretty symmetrical as this goes anyway. Okay, so there's our 8. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's our 8. So we're going to go up here again. Oop, wrong one. 1, 2, 3, 4 out. 1, 2, 3, 4 out. Then put these down. I don't know why the music started playing randomly, but it did. Maybe I stood here in one spot long enough. Might be what the problem is. Let me turn that music off real quick. There we go. I kind of like it better. I can't concentrate with that music going anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys probably like it silenced too, so it's easier to hear what I'm saying. All right, there we go. This is going to be the first of the 10 rows, of the rows of 10. Four. And you're going to do this over and over and tediously over again. What you end up with here at the end of the day is 3 beds of 66 plots. The reason I'm doing that is because right now, until they change it, which I don't think they really will, the max slots you can get on a house with bric-a-brac potions is 400 items. So if you subtract the 5 that you need, that's the plant and the plot for the seed likes, the tropical garden gnome, the sandwich station, and the litter, that's 5 spaces that you have to deduct from 400. So you're working with 395, and 395 divided by 3 will give you 2 plots of 66 and 1 of 65. Unfortunately, the numbers can't be made to divide perfectly evenly with these parameters, but this is pretty much as close as you're going to get with what we have right now. I got to move this again. I did some experimenting with trying to compress these plots even more, but you can't compress them enough. As much as I would like to, you can't compress them enough to get a medium to work. You just can't. There's no way. This is pretty much 2, 3, 4. This is pretty much as much compression as you get. This is as close as you can get seeds together and still get them to plant right. I'm going to do a video alternatively for people who don't have homes with the bric-a-brac potion and all that whatnot. 2, 3, 4. And we'll set up beds with those parameters as well. But this is for people who have the bric-a-brac potions, who have a house that has a wide open space like this Avalon place, and can spend the time and or the resources, 1, 2, 3, 4, to do this. Here, large soil. Two, 4, 6, 8. This is the 9th one. Another thing that you need to think about when you're doing these, I'll show you this you know what, I'll tell you that in a minute, whenever we go to the next bed. You want to, whenever you're moving this table, just try at first to move it one space to make sure you're going the right way. Because 2, 3, 4. See, this time when you're going for the second row of 10, you don't go side to side, you just go forward. Because you can, like I said, this is such fine movements that you can mess up really easy if you're not watching the table or watching the item that you're moving. Okay, going back this way. And the reason I bring that up is right now I'm in the XY axis. X is moving side to side and Y is moving front to back. But when I turn over to this one, it'll be reversed. It'll be X moving me forward and back and Y moving me side to side. It's just a thing you need to be aware of and keep track of. All right, so there I put your plant. So until you get used to it, watch your table movement closely and only move it one zip at a time. Don't try to fly through it. I'm going to go ahead and do these 10s real fast, and I'll come back when I get down towards the end of this bed. Okay, so once you got your 3 rows of 10 laid down, so far you've laid down 4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 10. On the next row, 2, 3, 4, you're going to go forward just like normal, but you're going to go in instead of out. 2, 3, 4. So this is going to give you another row of 8. And then you're going to do the same thing with the next row, which is going to be 6, and then the last row, which is 4. You're going to go up 4 and then in 4 to start. Okay, now that we've got our bed done, this is where this insect pressure plate comes into play. You're going to take your table and move it just like you did before. You're going to get it as close to the pressure plate as you can. With the plots there, it won't let you just do it normally, so you have to use the advanced movement to get it to do what you want. Line yourself up pretty much even with the plate and the table, parallel to it. Then use your movement. Remember, you've changed direction now, so the axis is going to change. You're going to use Y to move side to side and X to move forward and back. Get it just so the edges line up just like that. and then you're going to move it over to just like you did before, so that the edge of the plaque and the edge of the table are pretty much lined up, pretty much. Then you're going to go 2 more. And that's going to let you put the 4 in the right position. Let's lock that in, and I'll show you what I mean. Now you see the plot, you see how the pointy part of the plot is lined up pretty much with the edge of the plate. That's how you know you've got it in the right spot. Not only that, but it's going to give you it's going to give you a little tiny gap in between the 2 garden beds. So that's the proper positioning right there. You want the point of that plot to be right along the edge of this plate. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of pieces here real quick. Oops, wrong way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to just go ahead and speed through it, because I think by now you should have a pretty good idea of what it is you need to do. For the 3rd garden bed, you're going to do just what we're doing here. You're going to place the table over here in this area, line it up like we did here, and then lay your bed down just the same. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up on speed, so we're not making a 5-hour video, and we'll talk about it at the end. All right, I'll see you in a minute. All right, so when you're done, your garden will look like this. You'll have a 66 over here, a 66 over here, and a 66 over here. Now, unfortunately, the way these numbers roll out, you can't use every single plot. There's one plot that there won't be enough spaces left over for to plant a seed in. I only completed it now because, well, my OCD would be kicking me if I didn't. And sometime down the road, the devs in their infinite wisdom may decide to allow us to have more garden plots or more spaces in the house to make garden plots, what have you. And I just want to have it included in there because it's really a pain in the tail to go back and put one in later on after the fact. If you don't want to put that extra plot in there, then you can float a carpet up here or something above your head. Make your garden spell placement a little bit easier to see. If you want to do that, that's fine, whatever. What I've done here is I've placed a garden gnome exactly in the center of that pressure plate we were talking about earlier. That's another reason the pressure plate is here, is to give you an idea of spacing and where you need to put things. All right, so I've got that there. I got my garden gnome there. If you're not confident in your garden plot building just yet, then you can use, instead of using couch potato seeds like I did here, you can use like a rye bread fruit bush seed and put it down in the plot. It takes the same kind of plot, and it will like a garden gnome just the same as any other seed. So you can test to make sure that you've got everything in as close as it needs to be to all be affected by one bunch of gardening boosts. I've got, I put down my couch potato seeds here because I'm confident in the matter. And as you can see, that's as far away as you can get pretty much with that garden gnome. And it likes the garden gnome, which means it's in range of the garden gnome. Same with this one. And same with that one. Now, I'm not going to leave that pressure plate there. I'm going to take that out of there and that gnome for a minute to show you the final bits of this. Move that gnome over here. We're going to take the pressure plate, just pick it up, because you're done with it now. If you've got this, also another guide, if you've got this lined up right, if you look at these side to side, give me a better view there. These pointy parts of these plots will be pretty much pointing towards exactly on each other. You can see pretty much how they're lined up. All right, so there's that. We're going to move the table in, and I'm doing this for a particular reason too. Go ahead and get in the middle. Then you want the king parsley for this, which takes a medium plot. So we're going to go ahead and put our medium plot in. And I've placed the table. I've got it just a little bit too far in, so let me move it. Let's see if that's the right spot or not. What I want to do is I want to get that medium plot pretty much as centered as I can. I'm going to go ahead and do a perfect placement here to get that in there. Yeah, see, there we go. I've got it in between the two in the center of the plot, and the table won't allow it to be anything but exactly center in the garden. So there we go, we've got that there. Go ahead and pick this up. Because you can't, if you plant the seed first, you can't pick the table up. I don't know why that is, but you can't. So then we take our garden gnome. The reason I put it on the table just like the rest of them is not only for continuity, but it's going to allow you to place these things under that plot so they can be as centered as possible. And they're there. Where's that litter at? There it is. Put that as centered as possible. Now we're going to check again to make sure it's liking all those things. It likes garden gnomes and litter, which means the sandwich station is too far away, which means you've got to move it over just a little bit. This one's going to like the sandwich station and not the litter. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to check it and check it and check it until you get everything the way it needs to be. Move the garden gnomes. I'll move the garden gnomes out because they're the easiest to position. You can get everything underneath here. I'm going to pick up this first. You can get everything underneath here just fine. And with the seeds. So you can even do that and stick the bones through there and it's fine. And if you want to, for that matter, come think of it now that I mention it, you can. Wrong one. You can perfect place these things and force them to go under there, and it won't hurt anything. I'm not sure if I'd let the seed go or not because my other one went in without any trouble, so I don't know. There, let's test this again. Anyhow, you're going to sit there and work on it until you get everything just like that. See, there we go. We got all three. We've got all three. And when you've got it like that, it's set, it's golden. You can go ahead and put your medium soil down. Oops, I don't mean that. Sorry. Your king parsley down in your medium soil is what I meant to say. Now you've got all your garden likes except Pixie, which of course you can't do until later on. So we've got all four, and all four. This will work, of course, at Red Barn Farm and any of those other houses that like seeds as well. But there you have it. This is how you do the garden. Let me do one more time, give you a view. This is what it should look like when you're done. And of course you start putting all your seeds in and you are complete. That is it, guys, for my new most efficient mega snack garden beds. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out. If you did, please like, subscribe, share. Yell my name to the heavens. Name your firstborn critter after me because I would love to have that. That'd be awesome. And until next time, whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace.